Assalamualaikum and hello. My name is Muhammad Aziz bin Muhammad Noor. So today I'm going to present the fila table part for our problem-based learning statistic assignment. So we have been given the task to answer question number 4 regarding about how much money does people or respondents spend on fast food restaurant. So this is the question you can see over here over the problem format. This is the question that we need to answer on the problem-based learning type PBL. So filler table is divided by 4 parts: facts, ideas, learning issues, and resource needed. The filler table has been we already accounted many times during algebra, during engineering maths, and now statistics. So filler table is already you guys know it has facts, ideas, learning issues, and resource needed. So in facts, the facts that we gain from the problem is there are variety of fast food restaurant that people or respondent like to go. In our Google Forms, I include the variety of fast food restaurant is McDonald's, KFC, Sushi King, Domino's Pizza, Ramly Burger, Burger King, and some of them already list the fast food restaurant. Of course, you know the most famous is I think KFC and McD. Of course, Domino also. And number two fact is not all fast food restaurant provide reasonable price based on the quality of food they are provide. Yeah, this is true. If the fast food restaurant has more delicious food, it will have it will charge about um, if the fast food restaurant have more delicious food, it will charge expensive price for their delicious food. But if the restaurant does not provide about a good food, delicious food, maybe it will charge a cheap price to the customer. We see on the quality of the food. And number three facts is how much variance money spent on fast food restaurant obtained by the restaurant itself. This is the most important part. I will explain later because of why. The variance is how much respondents' money, customers' money goes to the owner and chief of the fast food restaurant. Why do I say this? Because variance is how much money they are get, not we get. How much money lost for the customer get. The respondent get lah, because we only have 14 amount of respondent. We will see how much amount of money does the owner or chief restaurant get. And lastly, facts, number 4 facts is how much standard deviation, or I can say that money saved from fast food restaurant obtained by the customer itself. This means that the standard deviation is how much money does the 14% or the 14 respondents that we get, how much amount of money can they save from the amount of their money they spend to the fast food restaurant owner. Okay, you get it? And that is for the facts. Now I explain the ideas. The ideas is how what ideas does we get from the problem based learning that we get. So mostly we will search the internet, of course, surf the internet to see how much variety of fast food restaurants people like to go. Mostly I survey, of course, there are KFC and McD is the most famous because they are we will call it a veteran restaurant and the most old restaurant that people like to go. So from the internet, that is what I get, and read and search catalogs to see what is the price of variety of fast food restaurant. Maybe we don't call it catalog, but we call it as brochure because if you go to the restaurant, there is a in the seating table there must be a brochure of or a catalog like a small book display the price and the picture of the food. So from that also we can get the information regarding to the price of fast food restaurant that we can input into the Google form. So that is the thing that I would like to say. If maybe if the internet doesn't have too much information, but if before PKP, right, we like to go to the restaurant and we have the catalogs, the advertisement over YouTube or TVs, and the catalogs on the table of the fast food restaurant. There must be a catalog. Each fast food restaurant must have their catalog. So from the catalog, we can get the price of the fast food restaurant. And of course, in TV advertisement is also good. Like fast KFC and McD, they always make awesome advertisement. You can see over there. And number three, create Google Forms to collect information. Create Google Forms is because this is MCO, we cannot approach people, so we just create a virtual Google Form where everybody can access it, and I as admin, I can extract the information that has been filled by the person who respond to the Google Form. So the Google Forms is how we collect the information regarding to the ideas that we would like to generate. So Google Forms, catalogs. Google Form is the most important to collect the information, and learning issues is how to implement the data we obtain to transfer it into a statistical table form. Or I can say that statistical table form is group data form from chapter 1, right? We learned that it has lower boundary, class limit, and frequency. These three things is the important things in the statistical table form or group data form in order to expand our data and solve it. And number two, learning issues is how to analyze the data correctly to obtain the correct value of variance and standard deviation to summarize the pricing of fast food restaurant. Why do I say summarize the pricing of fast food restaurant? Because variance and standard deviation is the most important things. Because variance is it shows how much money does the chief owner of the restaurant receive from the money from the 14 respondent person people who respond to the survey. We would like to see how much money does he get per day from the 14 person people. That is the variance. And standard deviation is how much money does the 14% respondent, 14% customer, how much money can they save from going to the spending their money to the fast food restaurant. Yeah, that is the standard deviation. Money save, what I can say. And learning issue number three is how to solve group data calculation mathematically. This will be explained from my friend in 3.0 part, or I can say result part. He will explain how to solve the group data calculation mathematically. It's like how to solve mean, mode, median, variance, and standard deviation, the most important part. And finally, is the resource needed is of course the internet. We surf the internet to see how much advertisement or info regarding to our fast food restaurant food price. And number two resource is statistic textbook written by Ponchasana itself. We can see the formula of group data from there and example from the book to refer it and solve the questions. And lastly, fast food catalog, or I can say fast food brochures. Yeah, this is from before MCO. We if the I don't say that I bring the fast food catalog, but every person must have seen this, so you must know the logic the logic pricing or the logic price of fast food restaurant itself. So that's it from me, and next I will show you the data from the Google form and the question that I would like to put in appendix. So after this I'm going to show you the data and the question that and gain and summarize it. So that's it from me. Thank you. Okay, I'm back. So this is the data that I want to show to you. The summarization of data. Total response is 14 people. You can see over there, just 14 people. Our response, we already spread it to WhatsApp group, but maybe none of the person answer until I had to pass the data to my family and other team member family. Our group is just 4 people, so maybe 4 people and 14. I just fill it once. So this is the fast food restaurant that I listed, and most of it like goes to KFC and McD's are even. You see over there 5, and this data is transferred to my team member. He will use this data that I created and extract the information so that he can create the statistical table that I mentioned in filler table, or I can say in a group data table. So this is the data. And how much money do you spend at favorite fast food restaurant of yours? You can see over here, 11 ringgit and 20 ringgit is the most. 8 people. So from the 14 people, 8 people spend about 11 and 20. Yeah, this is logic, especially KFC, right? If you are not too rich people, maybe you just spend 11 and 20 ringgit. That's fine. It's good. So this is the data that I want to show to you. Okay, and now the question is just a simple question over here. Yeah, just this is the question. I will include this in the appendix report of PBL, problem-based learning report. So this is the summarization of data that we would like to see from here. So to conclude, yeah, this is the data. Only 14% fill it. I'm so sorry if the data is too less, but we just want to extract the data and learn what we will get from the data. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Muhammad Shafiq Bazman. Now I will make an explanation about the result. First of all, we look at the table that we made. Okay, from the table we know that the first column is class limit because they are ranged between the number. So we put the title is money spent on favorite fast food restaurant. Okay, so we move to the last column. The last column is frequency. Frequency refers to the frequency of people that spend their money on their favorite fast food restaurant. So the sum of the frequency we get is 14. So there are 14 people that had filled the form, and we record and collect the data, and we get 14 for the frequency. Okay, next we move to cumulative frequency. How to get cumulative frequency? Cumulative frequency we get based on the frequency. So the first frequency is 1, so we put 1 at the first row of cumulative frequency, and then we just add with 8 equal to 9, so 9 plus 2 equal to 11, 11 plus 1 equal to 12, 12 plus 2 equal to 14. So we get the last row of the cumulative frequency is 14. The last row of cumulative frequency is same with the sum of the frequency. The amount is 14. Okay, we move to the third column. The third column is lower boundary. So I will tell you how to get the lower boundary. So we look at the first column. So I will make example RM11 until 20 ringgit. So how to get the lower boundary is we just take before the class limit. So before the class limit of the 11 ringgit is 10 ringgit. So we just add the 10 ringgit with 11 ringgit and divide by 2. So we get the lower boundary. Okay, we move to the fourth column. The fourth column is X. Okay, how to get X? The formula for the X is addition of class limit divide by 2. So example, okay, RM21 plus 30 divide by 2. So the range of the class limit 21 and until 30, so we just plus the of them, and then we divide by 2 and we get the X. Then X square, we just add X square and then we get the answer. Okay, next we move to Fx. So F refers to frequency and X refers to X. So we just multiply F and X and we get the answer for Fx. And then for the Fx square, we just, the answer of the Fx we square. So the sum of the Fx is 307, while the sum of Fx square is 8653.5. So that's all for me. Thank you.
My name is Muhammad Shafiq Sami. I will explain about mean, median, and mode for this group data. So first, for the first is mean. Mean equal to fx over f. So from the data that Shafiq collect, the fx is 307 and the f is 14. So we calculate is the total is RM 21.92. So this mean that mean on the average the money spent on the favorite fast food restaurant is RM 21.92 ringgit. Okay. The second is median. Uh, median is equal to LM plus n over 2 minus fm minus 1 over fm plus multiplied by c. So this is the mean of the symbol. So n equal total frequency. Lm is lower boundary of the median class. Fm frequency of median class. Total Fm minus 1 is cumulative frequency for the class before the median class. And C is class size. So median location, we calculate n over 2. So 14 over 2 equal to 7. So median class is at the 7th position. Thus the median class is about 11 ringgit to 20 ringgit. This do is the median class. So we get the number of decimal. So we calculate is we get around 18 ringgit. This means that 50% of the people spend their money lower than 80 ringgit and 50% spend more than 80 ringgit. So the third is more equal to LMO is lower class boundary of the mode class, and the B is frequency of the mode class minus frequency of the class before mode class, and the A is frequency of the mode class minus frequency of the class after mode class, and C is class size. The mode class is 11 ringgit to 20 ringgit. The mode class and the median class is the same. So we get the same. We get the number and we calculate for this formula. So this one is mean that the most spend money on the favorite fast food restaurant is 15.88 ringgit. So this mean is the customer spend the most money on the favorite foods is 50 ringgit. 0.88. So lastly, variance and standard deviation for this group. Variance is S2, S power 2. This is formula for the variance. So the number is we get the number from this table. So fx power 2 is equal to 800 8,653.5. So we resume so we calculate the variance. We get around 147.8 ringgit. So the variance is mean the money that the fast food restaurant get around 140.8 ringgit. So next is standard deviation. Standard deviation is equal to variance, but is so the standard deviation. This is a formula for standard deviation. So we calculate this standard deviation. We get around 20.50 ringgit. This standard deviation means the customer can save their money about 20.50 ringgit. That's all.
Our team had gathered some information regarding the topic that had been given. Based on the data that we accumulated and analyzed, we found out that it is useful in daily life application. This topic had been introduced to the data correctly to obtain correct value of variance and standard deviation to summarize the pricing of fast food restaurant. By knowing how to solve group data calculation mathematically, it is not only useful during examination but also useful in applying it in our daily life situation problems, such as determining the average to know the demand of a certain focus. As an engineer, it is essential to solve a problem accurately using mathematical methods, and by applying group data calculation, it makes things easier to be solved.